Hi everyone, welcome to this basics training. My name is Annalise. I am a web content administrator within the UCM department, and today I'll be walking you through some of the basics of things that we can do in the CMS to make our websites awesome. We'll be going over logging in. I'll walk you through the dashboard of the CMS. We'll go over folder structure, prepping and uploading images, creating and editing a text page, and anything else that we might see along the way. So I'll go ahead and share my screen and we can get started with that. All right, so first we'll talk about logging in. There are a few different ways to log into the CMS. I usually have a bookmark up here as Omni CMS. So I just click that and it automatically logs me in because I have my credentials saved. But we will provide this link in the description of the YouTube video so that you can bookmark it as well. Another way to log in to the CMS is to go to the site which you have access to. So if you've been given access to, let's say, the College of Arts and Sciences, you can Google this page or go to this link, go down to the bottom where the footer is, and there's a sort of secret way to log in. You can click the copyright button in the footer, and this will take you back to the folders that you have access to. So this is the page, and you would go to back to pages, and you would have access to the folders within arts and sciences if that was the access that was provided to you. So those are two ways to log into the CMS. I'll go over the dashboard a little bit as well. Let's see. The dashboard will look like this for you. It's helpful because you can quickly get to your checked out content if you have any checked out content. I believe I have some checked out content over here. So you'll see a little light bulb when you have something checked out, and this is a quick way to go to something that you've been working on. And we'll get into this a bit further. You can see your inbox. This is where you'll get notifications of things that were published, or if you are an approver, you will get notifications of things that some of your content contributors have sent your way that need to be approved or declined. You can also go to dashboard and then workflow. This is where you can see things that have been sent to you or that you sent and the status, whether they were declined or approved, and the date of those things. You can also go to content and go to pages. And here you can navigate to folders that you have access to as well. I'm going to flip over to this side because this is where we'll be working today in the IT CMS user level 6. The user level 6 is what most of you will have for your access settings. So you can go to content, pages, you can click the home button here. And if some of them are grayed out, that means you don't have access to them. But if some of them are blue and linked, that means you do have access and you can click in right there. So that's kind of the dashboard and navigating checked out content, navigating your inbox or your workflow area. So we can get into the folder structure a little bit more here. So I'm in CMS demos and I'm in basic training. We can go to the main CMS demos folder. For you, this could be arts and sciences, or it could be health, or any of the other areas that are sort of our main department areas. And then usually we have some sub-departments or sub-areas, sub-sites. So today I'm in this demoing environment, but this is what you can expect yours to look like as well. The index page will always be the home page. So if you click here, you'll see that we can edit this home page and make it look how we'd like. We're not going over that too much today, but the index is always your home page. We have an images folder. We have a documents folder. Basics training is a subsite with an index page. So anytime you see index, that'll be the landing page. So let's talk a little bit about prepping and uploading images. If you want to go to upload images here, you can click upload, and these are the allowed file types. We do JPEG, JPG, PNG. Any of these file types will be accepted here. We already have some in the works for the training today. Naming conventions are super important in the CMS. You'll notice that everything that is named, whether it's an image or whether it's the title of a subsite, we're using lowercase letters and dashes. So if I wanted to upload an image here, I would want to add and select one here. I've already named it manatee, all lowercase, dash, image, dash, grid, dash 4. So all lowercase, words separated by dashes, and upload. So this is how you can upload your photos and prepare them. It's good to take a look at some things in our CMS user guide as you're working to build out text pages and use images on your site. We have a really handy CMS user guide, which we'll also link in the description of the YouTube video. And super handy as well, we have a page that focuses all on our CMS image sizes. So I had this area selected down here because we will be working with an image grid later. Image grids are popular among our users, and the size of these images should be 227 by 300. So I want to show you one way in which you can prepare images. There are certainly tons of different ways to prepare images, but one way that I found really easy is using Canva. So I'm going to flip over here to Canva, and I'm going to remember that I want an image that's 227 by 300. So Canva is a free website, and you can click Create a Design here. You can go down and click Custom Size. And I already have it here because I've been working on this, but you can enter any dimensions that you'd like. So we want 227 by 300, create design, and it gives us this nice blank slate that is exactly the size that we're looking for the images that we want to use in the image grid. You can either copy and paste an image here, or you can use the uploads. I have one here, the Manatee Image Grid 4. So I'll upload this image that I want to use. I'll select it. And if you right click, you can click Set as Background. And you can double click it and move it around a bit. So this can be an image that we use for the image grid. And again, you want to use lowercase and dashes, so we can call this picture like Bruce dash and dash Betty dash manatees, because maybe those are their names. And we can click share, download. PNG is suggested, it says. That's fine because we accept JPEG, JPG, and PNG. Download. I'll save it to my desktop. Then I'll flip back over to our images folder here in the CMS. I'll click upload, add Bruce and Betty, start upload. Okay, great. So I have two here that say that they are unpublished. We can go ahead and select both of these. We can click Publish. We can click Include Checked Out Files. Just in case we had these checked out, we want them to be published. We want to publish them to both the testing environment and the production environment. Anytime you're uploading images, just go ahead and automatically publish to test, as well as publishing to production. This will save you time later, and sometimes if you don't publish something to test, then when you try to generate a testing link to view the page, sometimes you'll get an error or the page won't work because not everything is published to the testing environment in which you're trying to view the page that you're creating. Taking a little while. We can always do a refresh here. And I can check to see if it published a test by going over here to staging. Staging is our environment where we are just totally in play. It's the behind the scenes. Our testing environment is where we're publishing things to view and test. So they didn't go through yet. And our production server is where things are live and on the web. Let's go back to that images folder from staging. And these still say unpublished, so let's again try to publish to test and production. USF_edu, the default, that's going to be your production. We can try to publish simultaneously to production. And if this is going slow, we can move on to something else. Sometimes Omni does take a little bit of time to publish things, so do keep that in mind. It's not unusual at all. Let's go back to our CMS demos. Let's go back to basics training and this index page. So Grace has gone ahead and done some of this building out here. We want to show you that, okay, and those things did publish, so that's great. This is an image grid. We have some headers that are making our page look nice and distinct as we are differentiating between the text beneath, which is our body text or our copy that we want to display here. Resources, we have a toggle. This is how this will look. We have a bit of text, and we have link outs to different resources there. So I'll walk you through some of these as well. So here we have an image grid, which I noted is pretty common for users to use. We can select if we'd want like 3 or 4 of these. We can add one. Let's add a row after, insert row after. Let's put Bruce and Betty in here. Over here, this is where your image will go, and images always have to go in snippets. So an image grid is a snippet, by the way. So your snippet icon is here, this puzzle piece. But the image grid is the snippet, so right here, we just want to insert the image. We'll want to use this icon here, which is called a Dependency Manager. Let's go to CMS. Demos. Let's go to our images. Let's select Bruce and Betty. And we see we have the image in the perfect size, 227 by 330. So that is great. Alt text is very important too. We want to make sure that we are offering screen readers and people who use screen readers the opportunity to get a description of what's going on here. Super important for accessibility purposes, so please do not skip it. So here we can just briefly describe what we see. So a mother manatee, well, I guess, yeah, a mother manatee swims with its baby manatee. That works. All right, let's click save. And there we go. So we've added Bruce and Betty here to our image grid. That's looking good. And here we can also edit the toggles. So this is a toggle and you can add something, a link. If you select this, you can click the hyperlink button here. And we've hyperlinked this to a PDF that's in our documents folder. So again, going to the Dependency Manager, you can look in CMS demos, you can go to the documents folder. The documents folder only accepts documents, so PDF, presentations, Word docs, PowerPoints. Those are the types of things you'll find in the documents. You can select this PDF, insert it, and then click Save. So that's how you will hyperlink a document from the site. These others, I believe, are outside links. So you can always add a URL to an outside link. And importantly, if you want to link to something outside of USF, it's best to open it in a new window. And anything within USF, like, a document that we've created or another one of our USF websites, we want to open in a current window. And if we wanted to add a button here to give more emphasis, we could do that as well. So that would be in the snippet section. You can click Insert Snippet. And let's do a centered button. Okay, so we can edit the hyperlink here. And let's go back to the document. Say that we wanted to have a different document here. We can pretend this is another document in which we're calling to action. So we can link that, and then we can display the text as learn more or something like that. And since it's a PDF that we have from our site, we want it to open in the current window. We'll click save. It doesn't look like anything fancy here, but when we click save here, we'll be able to see our changes a little bit better. So there's that button we made, and if we clicked it, it would take us to that PDF of our resource. Okay, so those are some ways to edit different things on the text page. I want to talk a little bit about creating and editing a text page. This one was already created, but let's say that we want something here on the left-hand side. We want to add another page because we have more content and we want that to show up. So I will go back here and I will click new page text or new text page. Importantly, pay attention to the helper text and what is here already. So the content title, you can enter the title as you would like it to display on the page. So say we want this page to be get involved. We can use proper capitalization for the first letters of each word. Add navigation item. Add the page to the navigation file automatically. Yes, we do want this to appear on that left-hand side, so keep that as yes. Again, the helper text here is very important. We want to keep this .pcf, but remove untitled. And let's use only lowercase letters and numbers, and we want to separate words and numbers with dashes. So we can just say get dash involved, all lowercase, and keep that .pcf. You don't need to worry about this box for overwrite existing, and then you can click create. Okay, so we get this nice sort of template. And first I wanted to talk a little bit about editing the title and metadata. So if you go to properties, the title and metadata area is important. These three areas that are at the bottom here, keywords, author, and tags, these are not very important, but the first two, title and description, are important for coming up in Google searches or um, other SEO purposes. So our title of the page is Get Involved, and the description, we can do University of South Florida, get involved with saving the manatees, anything that you think could help generate some higher rankings or help Google find this page. Go ahead and click save. And then we can work on playing around with this page. So it is checked into us, which is great. I'm not seeing the green edit button, so I want to click edit. Okay, now I'm seeing the green edit button, which is great. We want to click that. We can take away this filler text. And here we can really play with how we'd like the page to look. So again, we can use headers here. We can copy and paste any body text that we have, and we can use some different snippets and things like that. So say we wanted a section called Meet the Team. We can highlight that, give it a nice header. We can add an image grid. Using the snippet function, you would find the grid here, insert, and yeah, say we only have 3 people on the team. We can do the same thing that we did before when we were looking at Grace's page. We can upload pictures of our team, give them names here, and display that content like that. We can also add another section for, let's say, ways to conserve or help. We can go ahead and give that a nice heading. We can do bullet points. We can do regular copy and paste text. We can do a table. So in the snippet section, it is really neat to kind of click around and see what's available to you. I like this preview that you get when clicking on different options. You can do a 2-column snippet, which gives you 2 columns of content. There's that image grid of our team members. You can do a large image with caption. There are tons of different ways that we can display content and information, so it is fun to get in here and start playing around. And again, if you are wondering about image sizes, go to that USF CMS Image Sizes page, and this will tell you exactly how big or small and the specific dimensions each image should have based on the snippet. So this is a super helpful page that will help you prepare your images before loading them into these snippets. We can do a table. We have a couple different table options. We have a timeline snippet, and we have another toggle section, which was also on Grace's page. And the toggle section, again, when you click it, it expands information out that way. So probably if I were to do ways to conserve, I might do bullet points or subheaders. If I were wanting to pull text from another site, you can certainly do that. If we wanted to recreate a button with a link, we could do that as well by going back here, going back to the image snippet and looking for buttons, using a nice centered one. Yeah, so we could either model our page after an existing page, or you can get creative and think of ways that you would like to display information. Let's go ahead and try maybe the content to column. We have our lorem ipsum text there. That's always helpful if you just want to save and see how something looks on a page. It would definitely look great with some images here, but for the sake of time in this training, since we already went over how to prepare images and insert them into the page that Grace was working on, we won't necessarily do it here, but this is just a good way to show you how to create another text page, have it appear in the left navigation here, and how to play around with some other snippets that are available to you.
Hi everyone, this is Grace. I'll be taking over the basics training demo from Annalise from here until the end of the video. So now that we're done with all of our edits on our text page, it's time to publish. So I'm going to be doing this from a content manager's perspective. Content managers can publish to both test and production. So I'm going to be clicking on publish. The only thing I need to change here is I'm going to change the publish target to test. The version description, this is for you and your log if you want to go back and see what types of changes you made on certain days or at certain times. So again, this is just a log for you to keep track of. So it can really be anything you like. But since we made all of our edits all in one go, I'm just going to say first draft of text page edits. And because I'm doing this in real time, it's going to be here within this final check. I can then check spelling, links, and accessibility by clicking these three arrows if I'd like, and then it'll show me what errors I have, and I'll make sure to update those errors before I publish. Let's say I want to schedule this for a different date. I would click over here to schedule. I'd choose the date on the calendar, the time, if I needed it to repeat, and then this would just be sent to myself to make sure that I knew I got the notification that yes, this is successfully scheduled for my certain date. So I'd put the message's subject and the message content if I wanted any. But for now, I'm doing this in real time. So I'll keep it on final check, test. Here is my version description content, and I'll click publish. So whenever you're clicking publish, you will get a banner on the bottom left-hand corner, and it's actually taking a second. So once it's published, it's going to produce a test site link. So publishing to the testing server means that it's only in a, let's say, testing or creating environment, if you will. For example, if someone's trying to Google for this page in particular right now, they're not going to find it. on the search engine results page because it's not published to production or it's not published live. This is only for our purposes so that our colleagues or our deans can review our work, or we can look at it ourselves to see exactly what it will look like once it is live. So I'll click on this button, view a new window, and here's my test site link. I know it's a test site link because at the very beginning of the URL, it says test site. So when in doubt, look at the URL because this will be exactly what it looks like once it's published live. So I'm going to look at it. I know that I have properly sized my images. I put them into the snippet, making sure all my manatee names are spelled correctly. Okay, that looks great. Okay, I'll click on my toggle and make sure that these are opening correctly. So let's say I'll click on my PDF. There it is, perfect. And so everything looks good. So I think I'm ready to publish to production. So I can actually close out of my test site window. I'll do the very same action, but this time I'll publish to production. So I'm gonna click publish. I don't need to run all my checks because I've already done that and I didn't make any other updates. So I'll keep this on production. Again, this is just for my notes and so that when I look back, I can see exactly what I did and when I did it. I'll click publish. And again, once it publishes live, it'll give me this banner with the link to my live page on the website, or excuse me, on the internet. So now that I've published to production, if people wanted to or somehow figured out a way to find this funny manatees page on the USF CMS, they could. And so this will make it live. It's not necessary to publish a test if you don't need any additional review or you're really confident that everything looks great. You can publish directly to production. It's just a good rule of thumb if you have multiple people in your department that are contributing content, or you have some great copywriters in your department that you would love for them to look over it before you publish. So those are kind of the reasons why you would publish a test first. So this is my live site. And again, if I look at my URL, the test site is no longer there. It's just my URL to my page. And if you look at it, it tells you a lot about what this page is. Index means the main page of a website section, which is what I'm in. Basics training is the website section folder I'm in. And then my site name is CMS demos. So that's exactly how we name the folders is how it will be executed here in the URL. And it will also be shown here in our breadcrumbs. So basics training, and then that will need to be updated. So that's kind of what it looks like. And this is our completed page. My toggle's working, and it looks great. So let's say for some reason, we don't need a manatees page anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and recycle this page. Recycling can be done by content managers and for some content contributors that have deletion access. So how you're able to delete a page within Omni is actually through staging. So because everything is created basically in the staging server, it will allow you to recycle both moving it into the recycle bin from the test server and the production server. And I'll show you what that means. So all I'll do to delete this page, and don't worry, I'll be able to restore it. I'm going to click on this checkbox, and then I see the recycle button here. I'll click recycle, and then it is warning me that it's linked somewhere else. It's actually linked in my side navigation, but just for testing and training purposes, I'm gonna ignore this for now, but always make sure to check this banner and make sure before you recycle anything that it's not linked anywhere, because if it is, this will cause a broken link. Click recycle. It'll even tell you it's moving to the recycle bin. All right, so this page was moved to the recycle bin. So how do I get to the recycle bin? I'll go back up to content and I'll click recycle bin. And you can filter a few different ways. So you can look at recycle date, you can look at even recycled by the user, which can be yourself, or the name of the file. So that's interesting. I'm not seeing my index page. So let me just refresh it and see if I find it again. Oh, yep, there I am. It's just called index-26. So why I didn't recognize it before is because there's probably other pages in here called index, because index is what you need in a website section as your main homepage. So it just renamed it for me, but right now I'm CMS level 6 user, and this is my original location, so I know that this is my index page. So all I have to do to restore the file is click on it itself, click restore, and then I will restore it, and it'll actually put it back exactly where I was using it. I also wanted to point out that every month we will clear out the recycle bin for the previous month. So, for example, come January 1st, or excuse me, January 2nd, when we come back from break, what we'll do is we'll actually clear out all the files from November. That means you still have the opportunity for all of your December files to be restored. So we kind of jump back 1 month to make sure that you have plenty of time to restore your files if you need to. But if you don't need them, that they will be deleted. And something else I wanted to point out, this was also, this is me. I also created this earlier. Let's say I didn't want to restore and I just wanted to permanently delete it and get it out of the recycle bin. All I have to do is click delete. And then it does want you to type in the word delete to confirm it, and then you'll click delete again. So then that is permanently deleted. So I'm going to go back to my page so that I can see my restored file. So I'm going to go to my CMS demos folder. I'm going to go back to basics training, and here's my index. Perfect. This is exactly where I need it to be. And I don't think it should be showing in test because it's no longer published there. Okay, yes, exactly. So when you recycle, it's really awesome because you are taking the one file from one server, which is staging, and recycling it again across test and production. So you don't have to remove it in 3 different places. So as you can see, it's not showing up here in test, and it shouldn't show up here as well. So what we're looking for is index. Exactly. That's because we recycled it. So let's say we go back to staging, but I want it published. So what I'll do is I'll click index right here. And right now, I'll just publish it to test. And then once it's published, if I want to switch to the test server, you'll see that index file there and showing you that it has been also published to that server itself. So I still think there we go. I'm going to refresh the page and it should appear right here. Yep, so here's my index page. I know that it's on the test server, and I also know that it's within my staging server. Now I'm going to show you how to send edits for approval and approve or decline those edits. So I've actually updated the settings so that now I have an approver assigned to me. So I am let's say a student content contributor, which means that I'm not allowed to publish edits directly live. I need to send them first to my content manager for approval before they're published live to production. So I have an edit. I just found out that Marley's name is actually Miss Marley May. That's her legal name on all of her documents. So I want to make sure that that's correct. So I made this change. There it is. And I wanted to submit it to my content manager, which happens to be me, Grace Beck. So as you can see from our last screen, when I was a content manager and when I didn't have an approver assigned to me, I was able to publish directly. But now because I have an approver assigned to me, I need to, or the button kind of transforms into submit. So I'm going to click submit. And this is where I will send my edits to my content manager, who's also my approver. So right now I'm CMS level 6 user, and I'm going to be sending it to Grace Beck. And this will be update to Manatee's name. Hi, Grace. Oopsie, that's not how you spell it. I updated Marley's name on the test page. Please review and publish when ready. Thanks. And what I typically like to tell people is to keep this box clicked. That means the content manager will get an internal Omni message if they're already logged into Omni and are looking for their work through their workflow. But I also like to have this checked so that it sends an external an external email to them directly so they can see it right in their inbox so they don't miss it. So I'm going to click submit and wait for Grace to either approve or decline my updates. And as you can see, This page is now locked. Once I submit it for approval, I can't touch it anymore. So I know that right here because it's grayed out and then there's a lock button. And when I go back to pages, you can tell if you hover over it that it's pending approval by my approver, who is Grace Beck. As the approver, Grace Beck, I got an email. So I can see that it's from the user, the CMS level 6 user who made the edits. Here's the message they sent that you saw me type up. And then it says, click on the link to approve or decline the page. I will say it's very frustrating. It's not hyperlinked. So what I do is I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it into my window. And see, now as a content manager, I have the option to publish or decline this. So let me look back at the message. It said that the level 6 user updated Marley's name on the test page. Okay, that looks correct. So what I'm going to do is I can either click decline or I can click publish. So I can click publish, and then I can do the same thing I showed you just now. I can do it immediately, I can schedule it, or I can actually notify my user by keeping this checked, approve for publish. Then it actually does it all for you. It tells them exactly what page is being published. And again, I'm keeping this checked so that they also will get an external email. But let's say I got brand new breaking news and found out that isn't Marley's name, it's actually something else. What I'll do as well is not only can you notify your content contributor that we publish their edits, but you can also decline and give them another message. So I'll click decline. What this can do is you can revert it to the previous version we had it. So because I just found out that that is not in fact Marley's name, I can revert it so that we don't see the level 6 users updates. The participants will be the level 6 user. It's declined for publish. They can say, you can keep it as it is, and then you can actually put your own note. Hi, level 6 user. I found out Marley's name was indeed correct the first time. I've made the update and will publish when ready. And then they'll get another email. So I'll click decline. It'll take you to the versions page right here. So this is going to be the last version that was updated. So what we can do is actually, so this was the published to final draft. So what we're going to do is revert it to this one. We'll click revert. And then when we go back to the file, it should have Marley's name updated the way it was. There we go. That is the end of our basics training demo. We hope you learned a lot, but if you do have any questions in the future, please submit a CMS intake form. The URL is usf.edu/CMS-intake. And depending on your status of a content manager or content contributor, you'll have different options as to what different requests you can send via this form.